Our next topic we are going to talk about. Let's actually talk about this one here. The story of the Max Headroom incident. America's creepiest unsolved TV hack. During the Max Headroom hack of 1987, Chicago television stations were overtaken by a masked man who continues to baffle authorities to this day. Kind of creepy. The Max Headroom hack came entirely out of the blue. On November 22nd, 1987, Chicago sportscaster Dan Ron was covering the highlights of the Bears' recent victory over the Detroit Lions. It was his usual spot during Channel 9's 9 o'clock news segment, one he had been doing for years. Always the same. Tonight, however, it would be different. It was his usual. Okay, which I already said that. Sorry, I got distracted here. At 9:14, Dan Ron disappeared from the screen. In fact, everything disappeared from the screen as it flickered into darkness. Then 15 seconds later, a new figure appeared. Dressed in a rubber mask and wearing sunglasses, the mysterious intruder looked like artificial intelligence television character Max Headroom. Even the gray background behind the figure was reminiscent of the simulated background that appeared behind Headroom. There was hardly any sound, but the image was still frightening. The figure bobbed around in front of the spinning background as a buzz noise played. After 30 seconds, the signal engineers at WGN, who broadcast Channel 9, switched the frequency on the station link to another transmitter, bringing Dan Ron back to audience screens. Well, if you're wondering what's happened, he said, clearly as confused as the viewers, haha, so am I. After the brief interruption, Dan continued his previous scheduled broadcast. Studio engineers assumed that the hijack was an inside job and immediately began searching the building for the masked intruder. However, their search was unsuccessful, as the broadcast turned out to be a pre-recording from a third party at a separate location. And there was another one on the way. The mystery hacker returns for a second show. Yikes. 2 hours after the first episode, the Max Headroom impersonator was back, this time on Channel 11. At 11:15 p.m., the PBS affiliate WWTW was airing a Doctor Who episode titled The Horror of Fang Rock. Then, as suddenly as before, the video cut out. Scan lines like those at the beginning of a VHS recording appeared, followed by the familiar masked figure. The figure bobbed in front of the rotating background as before, the same mask covering his face. However, unlike the 9:15 recording, the one had audio. That does it, the figure said. Its voice distorted He is freaking. He's a freaking nerd. The figure then laughed. He mentioned Chuck Swirsky, a WGN pundit claiming to be better than him. Then he held up a can of Pepsi can while reciting, I can pronounce that, sorry, the Coca-Cola slogan, "Catch the Wave." Max Headroom was at the time being used as a spokesperson for Coke. I remember that one of the greatest American mysteries. Yes. After that, the Max Headroom hack got creepier. The figure flipped off the camera, his middle finger covered in a rubber extension. He sang "Your Love is Fang," lyrics to "I Know I'm Losing You" by Temptations. He hummed tunelessly. He muted phrases from television shows. He screamed nonsense, and then he began to moan. After a moment, he paused to claim he had made a giant masterpiece for all the greatness world newspaper nerds, referencing WGN acromy, and corporate parent, the Chicago Tribune. He held up a glove like the one popularized by Michael Jackson and exclaimed, "My brother is wearing the other one." He then pulled it on, saying, "But it's dirty. It's like you got bloodstains on it." The camera then cut to a shot of a man's torso and particularly exposed buttocks. The Max Headroom mask had been removed. Sorry. And that's the reason why I left this one on. Yes. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. Let me know in the comments below if you guys can still hear me. This freaking computer or this stupid freaking phone. The camera then cut the headroom mask had been removed and was being held up to the camera. The rubber extension that had covered the figure's finger was stuffed inside the mouth of the mask. "They're coming to get me," the man screamed suddenly. "Bend over, bitch," a female voice responded. The man was then spanked repeatedly with a fly swatter as he screamed. How the Max Headroom hacker did it. The entire Max Headroom hack lasted 1 minute and 22 seconds before signal transmitters were able to black it out. They discovered that at the time of the incident, there was no engineers on duty at the WTTW transmitter tower. Had there been someone there, the signal could have been stopped. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me. By the time they noticed the error, however, the 90-second transmission was over. Since there was no one on duty during the transmission, the only copies of the hack came from Doctor Who fans who had been taping the episode on the VCRs. WGN and WTTW covered the incident, broadcasting the video again and again, calling the mastermind behind it a TV video pirate. Most Chicagoans were amused. Some were confused and some were upset that their television show had been interrupted. Hey, I would have been too. Especially a very, very good show was on, like, say, oh, this character was, like, teased to be killed off the show or something, and I want to see how he dies or she dies, or this person is actually dying in the show. I want to see what's happening, and this broadcast had interrupted my show. I would definitely be pissed too. However, while viewers found the Max Headroom hack funny, the government didn't. The FCC, the agency that regulates the airwaves, dedicated all their efforts to finding the mysterious masked figure, even offering a reward to anyone with information. I would like to inform anybody involved in this kind of thing that there's a maximized penalty of 100,000, 1 year in jail, or both. Phil Bradford, an FCC spokesman, told a reporter the following day. All in all, there are some who may view this as comical. WTTW spokesman Anders Yocom said, but it is a very serious matter because illegal interference of a broadcast signal is a violation of federal law. Eventually, the FCC worked out how the hacker had it done by placing his or her own dash antenna between the transmitter tower. The hacker could have effectively interrupted the original signal. They wouldn't even have needed expensive equipment, just good timing and position. They were also able to pinpoint a location where the video might have been shot. Based on the background of the videos, agents from the FCC determined it was most likely the roll-down door of a warehouse, and it tracked it to a district that had a warehouse with doors like that. Just imagine this guy would, if he's still alive, imagine he would hack this show. The hunt for the elusive hacker of the Max Caster Headroom incident continues. Though the FCC had found most pieces of the puzzle, the biggest one remained: who was the man behind the mask? Rumors about the identity of the person responsible for the Max Headroom hack floated around, but they were quickly dismissed. Most weren't even investigated. It seems that whoever did it simply faded into oblivion, satisfied with their work, an urger to continue drawing attention to themselves. But over the years, a few names have reappeared in forums and Reddit threads. Among the most popular contenders is Eric Foreigner, the creator of Shay St. John, a fictional model who was disfigured in a car accident and recreated her body from mannequin parts. That is a little creepy. Fans of Foreigner's Shay St. John point to artistic similarities between his bizarre, campy videos and the hacker's surreal and disconcerting, can't pronounce that, footage. Notably, the use of masks and unconvincing prosthetics. Those who knew Foreigner best, however, say the link is tenuous. His bandmates are sure Foreigner had little to no expense with broadcast communications, and they don't think he was in Chicago at the time of the hack. They do, however, acknowledge that he would have been amused to be the subject of such rumors. Sadly, Fournier died in 2010 for internal bleeding, the results of a long battle of alcoholism. And can't confirm or deny the gospel or gossip. I heard a rumor that the was the dude who created Shade Down St. John. Wait. You just said that just now. It's okay. The legacy of the Max Headroom incident. The Max Headroom hack wasn't the first of its kind, and it wasn't the last either. One notable forerunner was Captain Midnight, the first hacker to interrupt a broadcast signal with his own personal message. He was mad at the HBO had raised its prices. So on April 27, 1987, he interrupted that night's showing of The Falcon and the Snowman to air his own message. The Captain Midnight hacker managed to broadcast his colorful message for nearly 5 minutes before HBO regained control of the signal. Imagine this guy would still continue doing this stuff if he found a way to do it. He could. What had been a minor annoyance to viewers posed a major problem for the U.S. government, who were wary of the military implications of monitored the Soviet Union could prevent the transmission of vital information and comprise state secrets. The FCC began to investigate immediately and was inundated with 200 confessions from eager hacking ethnics hoping to take credit for Captain Midnight's work. Unfortunately for the real hacker, only a specific set of was powerful enough to have outmuscled HBO and the graphics model responsible for rendering the typeface used in his broadcast was rare. The authorities found John R. McDowell, formerly an operations engineer at the Central Florida Teleport Uplink Station. Holy crap. Okay, this article's almost done. It's like, holy crap, this is so long. Since hacking was relevating a new crime, his punishment was ultimately minimal. He paid a $5,000 fine. He was on probation and had his amateur radio license suspended for a year. but what he did had unsettled more than a few people. So by the time of the Max Headroom hack, less than 2 years later, satellite hijacking was a felony and the stakes were substantially higher. Today, signal intrusions are more difficult to pull off, but they are occasionally successfully attempted. In 2007, New Jersey viewers of the Handy Manny cartoon on Playhouse Disney suddenly found themselves watching porn, and in 2009, a disgruntled Comcast employee managed to interrupt the Super Bowl for Tucson viewers with 37 seconds of porn. Well then, the consequences remain severe and the hackers are usually caught. The Max Headroom hack remains the gold standard. Its content was bizarre. Its motives were mysteries, and its pervert was never caught. So very, very interesting long article that actually made me learn about this and actually shocked me about it. You know, what if these people are still out there actually reading this and hearing about this article and want to be an asshole and just randomly broadcast something out on a freaking, say, we have the new Super Bowl coming up with 2 new teams. Imagine a hacker hacks and all of a sudden, boom, we have something randomly playing during the Super Bowl. I sent you the video of the broadcast too, if you want to check it out later. Yes, I will eventually after this podcast. But yeah, I think we're gonna talk about the next topic in next week's podcast that you sent me. But I do want to mention before we do end this podcast, whoops, where is this? Okay, I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my coworkers, for actually making me have this idea I want to talk to you guys about, and actually have you guys be like, wait, what? If I can find it. Okay. Imagine a squirrel being in outer space. How will the squirrel survive in outer space? Will the squirrel be wearing a suit, or will the squirrel not be wearing a suit? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? How can a squirrel survive in outer space? That would be an interesting question for you guys. How will a squirrel survive? But so, in our next podcast next week, next Sunday, I will have at least maybe a lot more topics typed up and saved for us to talk about in our next podcast. I just pretty much not sure, I wasn't too sure how long this podcast would go on with all these topics I had in store for you guys, but right now we have pretty much quite a lot of stuff to talk about the next few podcasts. I still got more stuff to listen and hear about that I wanted to talk about you guys. Um, Especially this big thing that always happens to me all the time, that I sneeze and people says, "You good?" Because I sneeze about like maybe 9 times at the most. Because yes, I do count my sneezes. Um, but I will talk about that in the next podcast. So, anyways, yes, I'm gonna end this um broadcast, or podcast, I should say. Let me know in the comments below, or message me. Let me know how I did in today's podcast, and I will see you guys. Shit. I'll see you guys next Sunday, probably around 11 or 12. I'll let you guys know with an update of, like always, here on this podcast channel. So, and also I do have a YouTube channel called The Unstoppable Podcast. You guys can check that out. I will be airing these like topics every day at 11 a.m. on there. So right now I'm airing the old topics I talked about in last week's episode. So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the messenger. Let me know how I did. If you guys are watching this live, give this a big thumbs up. If you guys are tuning in off camera, off live, let me know what you guys think of this podcast today. And also, please share this if you guys want to. I don't mind. I'm also going to be sharing this on my personal page. So, but anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, follow, like, whatever you do on Facebook. It's kind of different than YouTube, but I'm unstoppable, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. And I'm out. Live, give this a big thumbs up. If you guys are tuning in off camera, off live, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Unstoppable Denominators channel of Unstoppable Podcast.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Skiz here, and if you don't subscribe to Blonde and the Unstoppable Denominator, then you are a toothy bumfuck, pussy ass bitch motherfucker.
In a six with the hicks and the firearms. You might come up.